Hey guys, just want to say a quick thank you to everybody who watched the Bering video and just answer a few of the questions that were left at the bottom. I haven't really responded with a lot of the questions, and there's a reason for that. But yeah, just generally got a great response, which is awesome. So I would like to say I've almost regretted making this video. When I started doing this, it wasn't really to get in any fights with anyone or to badmouth any boats or anything, but really just to share my love of boats and my preference. So in doing this, we're doing the Bering video. I was actually sort of refined why I made the videos in the first place. And again, I'm not against anyone, but what I am for is the owner captain. That's really who I am, and I'm still progressing in my journey on that. And my next purchase will be a ocean going motor yacht, 20-meter plus. And I know there's a lot of people behind me who have got that ambition, and there are a lot of people ahead of me, and I think we've all got something to share with each other. So really, that's who I care about. And I'm not affiliated with anybody. If nobody likes me, great, that's okay. And we've all seen the auto journalists, how they're paid by the manufacturers, and I'm getting no money and doing nothing, is just really out of interest. And ultimately, when I talk about the owner captain, it's about safety and about joy, right? Nobody dies at sea because they want to. Usually it's an accident, poor planning, a series of events, different things. And I think I've got something to offer in that. I've got a big risk appetite, but I eat it very slowly. It takes me a long time to, take on big challenges. But it's worked well in the past, and I've done some, pretty out there things and come back alive, which is good. I think there's a lot of people who maybe get about my age, I'm late 40s or their 50s, decide they want to do this, and perhaps have never been alone in the wilderness before. You need to get out there by yourself and be self-reliant to really understand what it's like to be on a boat by yourself in the middle of nowhere, right? No one's coming to get you, at least not immediately. Even if you've got the EPIRB, and you're somewhere close by, you still got some time to wait. So, ultimately you are the first line of defense against, survival and injury. And in the boat brochures, they don't tell you about the violent movement of the boats, the twisted ankles, the heads that get smashed, the blood, whatever it is, moving inside a boat can be quite a violent experience. It's not like the brochures. So, the last thing we want is for people to get into this hobby, interest, I don't know, addiction, whatever you want to call it, and have regrets. And this is, again, if we get back to the Bering, it's a great boat. I like it. I know I got criticized for my comments about the hull shape, and that's fine. But I did say a lot of nice things about the boat. And ultimately, I didn't respond to any of the comments because I made my comments, Alexi made his comments. And if you've got interest in the boat, go talk to Alexi. He's a great guy. And the guys at Bering, we'll look after you, But, for me, like I said in the video, it's almost my perfect boat because a lot of about's right. And, where I jump out on my preference is the whole shape, and that's okay. So yeah, I'll say that. And just know about the comments. There were some really positive comments. There were some very critical comments. And that's fine. That's what you do when you put things on the internet. And I'm all about free speech. People can say what they want, and that's getting more and more important as time goes on. And I do read everything that people write. But I respond, just like I would respond if somebody came up to me in person and spoke that way. Would I really engage with them? And if it's a bit too rude and abrasive and disrespectful, I'll take it on board and thank you for listening, but not really going to engage, just like I wouldn't engage with anybody like that in person. But I do read everything and do self-reflection. And I think, ultimately the owner captain that's going to benefit out of doing these videos is myself, so, and sorry, we've got some beeping here, which I'll just turn off, is myself, so if I can learn, and I've still got lots to learn. I'm not, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. So I do listen to people's feedback. But going through that feedback, I don't think there's really anything in there that I can't address. But the other learning of these videos is not just to spend 5 minutes doing a presentation and throw it out there. It obviously needs a bit more structure. And I think I need to think about a structured approach to go through some of the theoretical stuff, like stability. When we talk about stability, what do you mean? What type of stability? Primary, secondary, directional. There's a whole bunch of things to discuss there. And all this theory, it's nice theory. You've got this center of gravity dot, which apparently moves you around your boat. But that's a theoretical dot based on mathematical equations. And when you put in a dynamic environment, things can change. They call it fluid dynamics for a reason. And when you're in a boat at sea, it's a dynamic environment. And, it really depends on, your risk appetite. So I work in medical devices, and there's something called fault mode evaluation analysis. A simple analogy on that is, what's the weakest link in your chain? You might have a chain that lifts a ton, which may be fine most of the time, but that time you need to pick up something worth 2 tons, it breaks. And there was a comment there, I think, about an aluminium, wheelhouse and everything, and that helps stability because, it reduces the weight above. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, okay, that's true. There's less weight above, but when you get hit by that big wave, do you want to be in an aluminium wheelhouse or do you want to be in a steel wheelhouse? The steel still gets beaten up, in the right conditions. And look, it's up to the person what risk they want to take on board, as long as they can evaluate, the balance of those risks. And I would question, what sort of boat you've got where you need to remove weight off top and put a bit of a weakness into your, into your safety, add more risk in one area to get some benefit in others, So there's lots of things, and they're longer discussions. So, I'll wrap up with this. I threw these videos up there. I was bored during COVID. I sold my boat in September because I can't really get to Holland, waiting for things to hopefully open up again. So to get my next boat. And I was missing boats. So I did these videos, and I'm actually really surprised people watch them, honestly. And thank you everyone for that. Very unexpected. And I think what I need to do is spend a bit of time actually planning the videos, going through a bit of theory, and then applying it to the reviews. And actually, I put a bit of structure around the boat reviews, but maybe a bit more around, some of these stability, seaworthiness, sea kindliness questions, because, throwing a video up there with a very crappy animation on a floating cork can confuse people. I was accused of promoting that as a boat design, which I wasn't. It was an illustrative example, which I think most people got. And yeah, unfortunately, Bering, they got on that little animation. To their benefit, they're one of the few boat builders that show their whole shape on their website. Good on you guys. Like, really, you go look at a lot of these websites, there's a waterline and nothing below, right? And you have to look really hard on a lot of these websites to see the whole shape. Now, isn't that pretty important to know what is in contact with the water? Because that is going to be the primary thing that is going to affect your boat movement, right? So, good on Alexi, and he stood behind his boat, and, good on him. He's got a lot of experience and he's done really well. So, good on him. And I just picked that one. I could have probably picked a bunch of other boats, but he did the right thing by showing his whole shape and end up in the video. And good on him. So, again, I'll be a bit more careful about, how I review boats, and, sort of maybe a bit more, I don't know, structured in the review so people can understand it. But let's see what happens moving forward. So I'm going to wrap up now. I've gone on too long already. So again, thanks everybody. Thanks for your comments, good and bad. They've all been read and all much appreciated. And yeah, hopefully get to connect with some existing owner captains. You feel free to give me some feedback, future owner captains, and then anybody else who's just interested in boats. Cheers, guys. Have a good one.